This is me, cancer. It was 1987. I had just gotten a promotion at work. I was only 37 years old, had 2 great kids, had life going on. I'd always been taught to do breast self-exams. I was faithful to get my checkups and stuff every year. And then once during August of that year, I found a lump in my breast. And I called my doctor, and the doctor said, "Can you come in right away?" And I did. And I watched his face as he examined me to see if he saw what I thought I felt. And I could tell by the look on his face that he did. He covered me up and said, "Can you see a surgeon today?" That began my journey of breast cancer. I went to see that surgeon today, and he was a kind old gentleman. And he said to me, "We work in steps." He said, "Step 1, I'm going to do a needle biopsy. If fluid comes out, good. We go home and we're done. If not, we go to step 2. And step 2 was where I would go in the hospital as an outpatient and do a biopsy. And at that point, it would be sent off and to see if there was cancer, but there would be a technician there to also look at it. And I was in the recovery room with my sickness that I always get when I have to be put to sleep. And the doctor came in, and Gary right behind him, and I could tell by Gary's face that something wasn't right. And the old doctor pulled up his chair, and he pulls up a straight back chair, and he sits on it backwards. I'll never forget. And he had these glasses, and he pulled them down on his nose, and he looks at me and he says, "Nola, we've got problems. You have cancer. We have to go to step 3. And step 3 was a mastectomy. So I will never forget my thoughts. Not sure I can do this without crying. I remember thinking, "Oh God, what's going to happen to Gary and my girls? What's going to happen to my mom and my daddy, my brothers and my sisters? They all need me, and I need them." And the thoughts kept going and twirling until I just totally lost it. And Gary had to take over from there. He and the doctor made the arrangements. The surgery was scheduled for 3 days later. And don't know how to explain it. It's one of those things that happens to you, and you gotta deal with it. The hardest part of all of that, in spite of what was happening to me, was the day I got out of the hospital. I found out my father had cancer. I remember going to the hospital all bandaged up with a big pillow under me while they did surgery on him. And they told us there was nothing else they could do. So Daddy and I became very close during that time. We talked like we never talked before. He was 83 years old, and due to other health issues, decided not to have any kind of surgery. And so every Sunday I would go down and visit Mom and Daddy as I normally did. One of the things I got to tell you about being diagnosed with cancer is you start to take chances, things that you never thought you'd do before, and you see things you never seen before. Like you notice how the birds sing, and you notice how those delicate little flowers have different colors and all that. Well, I decided that I was turning 38 that month. I wanted to change my hair. I'd worn it long and straight with a headband for years. I wanted it frosted. So I had a good friend who said she could do it. She used to be a beautician. Remember the words "used to be." And she streaked my hair. So that Sunday I went to see Mom and Daddy. We sat down on the couch, and Daddy, he looked so concerned. And he said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." "You okay?" We did that a lot. And he said, "Me and you ain't gonna make it, are we?" I said, "Sure, Daddy, I'm doing good. You're doing good. Why do you say that?" He said, "Well, somebody told me that cancer really messes with your hair. And he said, it's messing with yours really bad." You know, I never convinced my daddy that I did that to myself. He just wouldn't hear of it. I lost Daddy 7 months later, May 26, 1988. This is me. I'm a 27-year breast cancer survivor. When I was in the hospital recovering from step 3, that mastectomy, I had a lady come to me from the American Cancer Society's Reach to Recovery program. She came in with all this info and talk about how she survived cancer and all that. She spent probably about an hour with me. I was so impressed with her that when she left, I knew if she could do it, I could do it. While I was still in bandages, I went to my first breast cancer support group meeting and went feeling sorry for myself. Why me, Lord? That kind of stuff. But when I left there, I was counting my blessings. I am now a Reach to Recovery lady, one of those that goes to the hospital and tries to give the others support. What I want to do is make sure that they feel the hope that I had when my Reach to Recovery lady left. I want them to know there is help and that they're never alone. I had a brother who died of leukemia, and he battled treatment for 3.5 years, and he died anyway. I had a friend at work whose wife had breast cancer, and she went through all the treatments, and she died anyway. So I used to be, when I was younger, a pretty contrary type person, and I had made my mind up that if I had cancer in my lymph nodes, I was not going to go through what all they had went through. I was going to have quality of life without treatment. And thank God he knew that contrariness inside me, and he made sure that I didn't have to do the chemo treatments. The hardest part, I think, came from, it was hard with Gary, but Gary was the one that assured me that he loved me no matter what. I was afraid of being disgusting. That was a pretty emotional time of worrying about him. I had 2 teenage daughters. The thing that helped the most with that Reach to Recovery lady, inside that basket and that big packet info she gave me, was letters to your husband, your children, be it boy or girl. And those letters were able to say what I couldn't physically say. So that helped get them through that. The thing that I hope other people don't do that I did is I tried not to worry my family. I tried not to worry my friends. And they were hurt that I didn't pull them in. But when they did learn, they were all there on board. And that's kind of what carries you through, is knowing you're loved. I wasn't as close to God at that time as I am now, but I knew He was there. I knew He was taking care of me, but I knew He was doing it through the prayers of my mama and my grandma and my family. He carries you through times when you don't even know He's carrying you. It's kind of like that. I've got this picture, and it's talking about that one set of footprints, and God said that's where I was carrying you, because there's only one set of footprints. So He was carrying me, and I didn't even realize He was doing it.
27 years, what do you attribute it to?
27 years. You know, God had a plan. And sometimes I'm still not sure what that is, because my whole entire life changed. The people that I know now, I probably wouldn't have known had it not been for the breast cancer. Everything's changed. But it's for the good. It's for the good. And I guess this gut feeling inside me just wants to be there to help other ladies through it. If somebody told me today that I have breast cancer again, I'm not as contrary as I was. I've seen the treatments bring people through, and I know the power of God better now than I did back then, and so I wouldn't hesitate. I would do it now. This is me, and I am a breast cancer survivor.